learning about that, I realized apparently I can make money while helping other people. So, na-ingrain siya sa mind ko na if I'm gonna do anything that benefits myself, I have to make sure that it also impacts positively a lot of people. And that has been my motivation ever since. Every business that I establish uh, aims to solve problems, societal problems, and not just to.
I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Welcome to OFWpreneurs Podcast. The title is OFWpreneurs, Overseas Filipino Entrepreneurs with Big Ideas. This is your host, JP Adena, and our guest for today is Mr. Magellan Fetalino. I call him Mags for a very long time now. And welcome. Hi, Mags.
Hi, boss. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Pero sa mga audience, maybe good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day, wherever you are in the world. So, para sa inyo ito mga OFW. It's an OFWpreneurs title. So, there you
Correct.
go. So, matagal na kami magkakilala ni Mags. Pero, do you happen to remember the first time that we met?
I do. You invited us to Hong Kong to talk to some of the OFWs in Hong Kong. I think this was back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. 2015.
Yes.
And I remember we held the event in one of the offices of the embassy.
Yes.
Hindi pala embassy sa Hong Kong. OWA office
Yes.
in Hong Kong. Unfortunately, you were not there. So in the event itself, so we met outside of the event. Until after that first meeting, we became really good friends to the point na even nung pumunta yung family ko sa Disneyland, you even gave us some VIP passes.
Yes.
So,
At saka parang naging ako, tour guide.
That's right.
Ang galing. So, natatandaan ko yun kasi it's about Ilustrado. What's the company name?
Ilustrado
Business Consultancy. Yes. So, the best part for me about that is when I asked you, you said yes immediately.
I can never say no to you, boss. Yun lang yan. That's how
Nahiya akong konti.
simple it is.
Nahiya akong konti. Kung wala akong ilaw, kung makikita nyo yung blush ko eh. So, nakakatawa kasi I've learned to ask, and kasi kung hindi ka nag-ask, it'll always be no. The answer will always be no. So, also for this podcast, privileged tayo na meron dito si Mags para biyayaan tayo ng mga tips at saka mga learnings niya sa pagiging OFWpreneur. Now, doon sa invitation ko dito, very tricky kasi I asked you specifically, do you consider yourself as an OFW? Maybe you can share for all the listeners out there.
So, I did say na, I remember when you asked me, sabi ko sa'yo, Japes, parang hindi ako pasok doon sa OFW kasi I never really worked overseas, but I had businesses overseas.
Yes.
And then you said, Mags, ano to? This is for Filipinos who are doing projects, whether they work or they do businesses overseas, para to sa kanila. So sabi, okay, sige. So, dyan siguro pasok ako kasi I have businesses in Myanmar, in Singapore, in Hong Kong. So, I think for that reason, swak tayo dun sa programa.
Kumbaga officially, kung may tataka ng OWA, wala. But you're overseas. Officially, you're not an OFW, but you're overseas.
Yes. Correct.
Nakakatuwa yan kasi ang pinaka-proof is your mugs.
Yung Starbucks collection.
You asked me to buy mugs, and of course, bibilhan kita. So,
Sabi ko nga, Japes, parang before lockdown, almost every week, I'm either outside Manila or outside Philippines. So, nanibago talaga ako nung lockdown.
Hindi ka sanay na umaalis ng bansa.
Hindi ako sanay na stuck lang ako sa kwarto ko.
Lahat naman tayo, kaso thankful pa rin ako kasi nagawa ko ito. At alam mo yun, yung parang I discovered Zoom and then naisip ko nag-invite pa ako tapos automatic recording to. So dito na lang ako. Mas madali pa yung system. Diba? So, I know you. You're my friend. But the thing is, not everybody knows you, right? But they might know your company, but Mags himself, we don't know. So, can you describe yourself in the third person? Who is Mags Fetalino? Very boy bunda, no?
Boy Abunda, Miss Universe to. Okay, sige. Let's try it. Sige. Well, I always wanted to describe myself as a serial entrepreneur. Like, I'm the kind of person who, when I see an opportunity, when I see a problem that I want to solve, I don't see problems as problems. I see them as opportunities. So I like solving big problems. I like having an impact to society. So if I'm going to describe myself, I would describe myself as an entrepreneur who loves solving big societal problems. So yung mga projects na gusto ko, yung mga how to solve hunger, poverty, how to help small businesses, how to solve love issues. Societal problem naman yan, di ba?
Tama. Ano ngayon, no? Bagay, sa mga hindi magkikita ng matagal dahil na lockdown, di ba?
Exactly.
Parang automatic LDR ang nangyari, no? Kahit sa Pilipinas pareho, kahit nandiyan ka lang sa Makati, dito ako sa Sukat, LDR pa rin ang dating, di ba? So,
exactly.
Galing mo dun, ha? So, si Mags ay serial entrepreneur, which you are. I think you are. For me, sa mga ina-idolize kong mga entrepreneur, isa ka doon. Tapos,
thank you.
Thankful ako kasi, kilala ko yan. Parang isa sa mga yabang ko yan. Parang, yun naman yan. Kilala ko yan eh. Parang gano'n. So, parang natutuwa ako na may gano'n akong connection. So, sabi nga ni Floyd nag-guest siya sa podcast, sabi niya, your net worth is your network, di ba? So, in a way, true. I can say na nasa taas yung net worth ko when it comes to my network. So,
agree.
Mayroon din ako nakausap before, sabi niya, bakit ko, sa tingin ko, strength ko yung kadaldalan eh. Yung pagpiga ng information sa ibang tao eh. Mga ganon. But sabi ko sa sarili ko, bakit ngayon ko lang ginawa to? Pero pinaalala niya sa akin, kung ginawa mo yan a year ago, baka yung network mo, yung invitation mo yung wala. hindi upo kasi hindi mo sila kilala, di ba? So, thankful ako na nagkakilala tayo in 2015 through financial education. When it comes to financial education, dun sa ginawa mo sa Hong Kong, it's about business planning actually, di ba? So,
yeah, that's correct.
I highly benefited that yung ginawa mo dun sa Hong Kong, bukod sa mga taong nag-attend doon. Natutuwa ako kasi sinasabi nila sa akin yun. Sir, gawa ka pa ng maraming ganon yung business. Sabi ko, hindi ko na-realize na hindi ko siya ginagawa. Alam mo yun, yung gumawa akong financial education, but then, gumawa tayo ng program about business or business planning, but then I don't have one. So parang, pag natatanong sila sa akin, maganda yung nangyayari, but then I don't have any answers. Ano mo yun? I don't have any answers. Then parang, ipapasa ko nilang kay Mags, di ba? So, I did it right there and then. Kahit din sa influence din ni Floyd, na sabi niya, you have to have something that kung kumikita ka, to sustain din yung advocacy mo. Yun yung yung advice niya. Have something to sustain the advocacy. So, kumikita ka dito, para paandarin yung advocacy. So, sabi ko, And then, I realized na at the end of a financial education, usually ganito, correct me if I'm wrong, mag-umpisa ka sa financial education dahil kipit ka. May problem ka. And then, mutual fund ka kasi ayaw mo bumili na sarili mong stocks. And then, finally, sabi mo, mag-stocks ka na. And then, sabi mo, ba't nga ba akong bibili ng business kung pwede naman akong gumawa? And then, pag gagawa ka ng business, anong gagawin ko? Three usual ways is, sasali ako sa rent a company, rent a company by doing networking, right? Direct sales. Second, franchising. Kukuha ako ng ayos na system, or do it the hardest way.
Start from scratch.
Start from scratch, make a system, and maybe you do it in a networking way or in a franchising way. So sabi ko, I've decided to start my own. Right? So very, very big influence si Floyd at saka ikaw, Max, sa decision making na yon. Hindi lang dahil sa sarili mong, of course, economically you'll benefit from it, but then to answer questions ng mga tao. I don't have any answers. And wala ka naman doon para magbantay nung sagot sa mga tanong nila, di ba? So, but then, that's my journey to start. Right? Journey to start. Why I started a business sa Hong Kong. What was yours? Ano yung first business? Give us the shortcut version ng mga mga businesses.
Well, kasi yung background ko pa lang from kasi like you, Boss JP, we're both Tomasians eh. I'm not sure if you remember, di ba?
Yes,
tayong Tomasino.
Yes.
So, yung major ko nung college is Entrepreneurship. So, College of Commerce. So,
St. Raymond's Building, shout out.
St. Raymond's, exactly. Shout out. St. Raymond's Building, di ba? So, parang yung training pa lang, educational training pa lang, namomold na yung mindset ko to become an entrepreneur. And funny because for us to graduate, we have to establish a business.
Yes.
So kung wala kang negosyo, by the end of the course, hindi ka gagraduate. Yun yung pinaka-thesis namin eh. Ang thesis namin ng college is to create a business plan, but at the same time, we have to execute it. So kung hindi mo magawa yung dalawa, hindi ka gagraduate. So, dun pa lang, medyo na-mold na yung mindset. So, my first business was an events organizing business. I remember in college, I was holding mga gigs for bands. So, yun yung naging negosyo ko to graduate. I also remember holding student events, mga large student. Correct, exactly. So, ang mga ka-tie-ups ko dyan, mga bars. So, if you know, Mayrix, di ba?
Yes,
malapit sa 1611, yan. Yan yung mga ka-tie-up ko na ng mga bars when I was in college. So, after that, when I graduated, I actually worked muna. Nag-work ako. I think, sometimes, di ba, if you really want to master something, you need to learn how to follow first. So, I actually got employed. I worked for 2 companies. One is an insurance company. So, for over a year, nag-work ako sa insurance. That's where I learned about the importance of insurance, mutual funds, all of these investment products. So, it was a good training. And then after that, sabi ko, exactly. And then my second job is, I worked in the Senate. Ang training ko naman sa Senate of the Philippines.
Parang insurance bilang Senate.
Actually, later, may connection yan eh. Kasi sa Senate, ang training ko, lobbying, policy, in terms of policy making.
So technically, you're actually marketing the policies, di ba?
Exactly. And PR, as you mentioned, marketing, public relations. Yun yung training ko sa Senate. So, if I would look, siguro, nung time na yon hindi ko makita yung connection, di ba? Pero, without those 2 jobs that I have, I wouldn't be able to execute my business as well today. In hindsight. Kasi for example, currently I'm involved in a number of businesses. One of them is Acudine, which is a finance-related business. So imagine, if wala yung insurance training ko, baka hindi ko naiintindihan yung negosyo ko ngayon.
Mm.
Yung PR naman, at some point, while I was working on Accudin, kasi di ba we provide SME financing, akalain mong walang batas that allows or that supports invoice discounting or receivables factoring in the Philippines. So, yung training ko sa Senate...
May sabi mo, ha? Ganoon agad di ba? So, para tayo patas.
Exactly. So, ngayon, yung training ko sa Senate nakatulong because I was able to help pass the Personal Property Securities Act, which was passed in 2019, that supports what we do as a business here in the Philippines. So, dahil doon...
Sabi ka rin. Ikaw din yung naglabi, di ba?
Exactly. So, minsan hindi mo makikita yung connection ng mga experiences sa'yo. Pero once you look back, in hindsight, makikita mo, oh, nakatulong pala yung experience ko dito. Nakatulong pala yung experience ko doon. Kasi because of those trainings, nagawa ko na mas effectively yung project ko ngayon, yung business ko ngayon.
Naalala ko yung kay Steve Jobs na Stanford
speech,
di ba? You connect dots in hindsight, di ba?
Exactly.
Nakakatawa yun. Parang kung ano yung sinabi mo, yun yung sinabi talaga niya. Na, for me naman, my experience about that, yung connecting the dots in hindsight, hindi ko rin maiisip lahat ng mga businesses ko ngayon kung hindi ko rin ginawa yung mga nauna, kumbaga. Natutuwa ako kasi sabi ko, it started with just giving talaga. Every Friday, meron akong mga financial education. Meron akong 5 steps. Hindi 5 steps, parang 5 different types of parang programs na sinasabi ko sa mga kasama ko sa trabaho every Friday. Tapos, ang tanong nila ganito, sabi niya, Kuya JP, bakit mo ginagawa yan? Ano nakukuha mo dyan? Ang sagot ko talaga sa kanila is actually hindi ko talaga alam. Meron lang akong information na gusto kong sabihin sa inyo na alam ko makikinabang kayo. Kasi alam ko, kung sana, parang 6 years ago, nung dumating ako, may nagsasabi sa akin ito, edi sana hindi ko nasayang 6 years of possible na ilagay ko na sana sa magandang mutual fund yung retirement fund ko noon. Kasi 6 years na naging stagnant eh. Parang ang kinita lang niya is $20 nung time na yun. So parang, and then from the jump from 3 years after, from 2015 to 2018, kumita ako ng 50,000. So parang sabi ko, it's imagine yung 6 years. And it came from 2008 ha. It came from the recession. Just imagine yung gano'ng kababa yung entrada mo nung 2008 papunta sa 2015 at that time. So I couldn't imagine kung gano'ng kalaki yung kinita ko nung time na yun. Just kung meron lang tao na ako ngayon sa inyo noong 2008. Diba? So, yun lang titinang ko. Yun lang inisip kong dahilan sa kanila. But the thing is, totoo lang, hindi ko talaga alam. Baga, I just made up something. Ba't nga ba? Right? Maybe that's the reason. Pero, nung nangyari yun, napunta ako sa OWA, and then I was invited to be part of the PAOS, yung post-arrival orientation seminar. So parang nakilala ko yung laba, nakilala ko yung labor attaché, nakilala ko lahat ng mga volunteers doon. And then after I made the business, sila yung umorder. So sila din yun. So parang ano bang busy ka ngayon? Ganon. So parang nakakatawa na lahat ng yun ay related. Just because I started with giving. Parang ganun. So yung kung kay Bo Sanchez naman tayo, started with giving, di ba? So step 0. Nung mga time na nag-uumpisa ka, I'm sure mahirap yon, right? Kasi sabi mo sa akin, sa ibang bansa ka naggawa ng business. Katulad ng Ilustradas na sa Hong Kong yon, di ba? So what were the problems before? Kasi ako yun din ginawa ko eh. Baka makarelate sila sa, kung gusto nila magawa ng business sa Hong Kong, baka makarelate sila sa sasabihin mo.
I have a simple advice when it comes to starting a business, whether overseas or locally. Know the rules before you break them. Yan. I'm gonna repeat that. Know the rules before you break them. Ano ibig sabihin ko doon? Mga entrepreneurs kasi, mahilig yan mag-break ng rules, di ba? Parang we see these like gaps, and those gaps tends to be like the opportunities for us. The problem is, ang hirap pasukin ng isang negosyo kung hindi mo naintindihan yung law of the land or yung mga basics or even the market, di ba? Kasi it is true that when you run a business, you take risks. But the role of the entrepreneur is to make sure that you mitigate all those risks before you start them. Kasi if you don't understand the market, if you don't understand the rules, the law of the land, patay ka. Madadali ka. Sayang lang yung binuhos mong oras, sayang lang yung binuhos mong resources. So, always do your research first. Study kung ano yung mga kailangan mong gawin, and always do things above board. So, that's my first tip. I have a second tip. Don't invest or don't put a rocket engine on a jeepney saraw. Diba? What do I mean by that? Don't overinvest in a business model that's not yet perfect. Ang mali kasi ng iba, they tend to aggressively scale the business. Kasi diba, yung entrepreneur, gusto nila malaki kagad. Gusto natin, hindi, papalakihin ko to, magma-marketing na ako.
Big thing, magka parang ganun.
Oh, di ba? Parang i-announce ko na sa lahat ng friends ko tong negosyo ko, blah, blah, blah. Without looking at your internal framework, di ba? Yung internal processes mo. So, what I'm trying to say is, never overmarket yourself kung hindi pa stable yung negosyo, hindi pa stable yung mga procedure ng business mo. Kasi the problem with that, if you scale fast, na broken pa yung business model, sasabog yung business. I've seen this happen multiple times. So,
it happened to us.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Ang nangyari sa amin is we thought big. We can do up to 2,000 maybe. I think 1,000 maybe na packs per day. But the thing is, yung market yung wala. So naging baliktad. We thought na gano'n ang mangyayari. But there's so many other reasons. But I think that's the primary reason kung bakit kami nag-fail nung time na yun sa Go Baon. But we're doing it sa Pilipinas ngayon, and so many learnings. At ngayon, natututo ako sa'yo ngayon. Ang ganda ng tip mo. Kahit saang pang-land yan eh. Alam mo, sanay ako sa Hong Kong dahil dun yung in-research kong mga, yung sabi mong tip 1, yun yung ginawa ko, talagang super research ko. Pero yung tip 2 ngayon ako na sumablay. But this time around, sa gagawin ko sa Pilipinas, inaalam ko ulit yung tip 1 mo na naman. Kasi mas alam ko yung sa Hong Kong side, sa Pilipinas side yung ngayon yung problema ko. That's why I'm actually asking advice. Actually, that's the reason for this. Totoo lang. At the back of my mind, kung hindi ko alam, tatanungin ka mga OFWpreneurs na mga guest ko. So parang yun yung selfish reason dito. The unselfish side is lahat na nakikinig ngayon.
You share it to everyone.
Nakikita na nila. Instead of just me calling you and asking for this information, at least everybody else is listening. And then they can benefit from it. I want to go back. A little bit more. Kasi I want to ask kung yung family mo ba ay business-oriented at namana mo yun or nakita mo yung sa magulang mo or dahil lang kinuha mo yung entrepreneurship or pinush ka ba ng magulang mo sa entrepreneurship na course and then wala, force na doon kasi yun na yun yung course mo na eh. So, is that the trajectory na nangyari sa'yo before nakanapunta sa entrepreneurship?
That's a good question. Parang hindi eh. Wala sa genes namin eh. Yung
parang ikaw ang una.
Actually, no. Sige. Taking a step back, our family kasi, a lot of us are either writers or into PR, public relations, marketing, writers, journalists, media, essentially. I think yan yung nasa genes ng family namin. Lahat kami into the marketing side, into the PR side of things. But one of the outliers is my aunt who had her business, pero also in the PR communication
Yun,
side.
same din.
Ganon. So, I think yun yung one of my influences. Nakita ko yon growing up. She was the most successful in our family. And that served as an inspiration. Na parang, okay, parang gusto ko rin yung ganong lifestyle. And then siguro, yun na rin yung naging drive. Kasi, just so you know, my course was supposed to be food technology in
Food
USD.
technology.
Food tech. Kasi gusto ko maging chef. So I wanted to know the science behind the cuisines.
And then
Because
maybe, usually mga food na ngayon is on nutrition na. So yun ang alam mo dapat.
exactly. So kasi parang I'm very playful. I have a playful mind. So I want to know what's underneath the food through food tech so that when I cook them, I know how to reinvent them, di ba? Yun yung parang entrepreneur mind ko towards food. But unfortunately, on the day na I was supposed to confirm food tech in UST, I had diarrhea. So, ngayon,
Parang napaka-appropriate na food tech din tayo.
exactly. So, hindi ako nakapunta. And the day after, when I went to USC, sabi nila, nakuha na yung slot ko. Eh, di ba? Ganun yun eh. Di ba sa student admissions. So, nakuha na daw yung slot ko. So, ano yung natira? So, sabi sa akin, ito, meron pang slot sa commerce. So, that's the reason why napunta ako sa College of Commerce.
No, so with that,
Serendipitous siya.
galing nga eh. Parang nakakatuwa. So, but then, yun yung reason kung bakit ka ngayon entrepreneur. Diba? So,
correct, di ba? So imagine that small event na parang meaningless, di ba? Nagka-diarrhea ka, hindi ka nakapunta sa confirmation nung course na gusto mo.
Tapos yun ang nangyari.
Changed everything. Changed the entire roadmap. Exactly.
Nakakatawa yun kasi ako naman, if you didn't know, hindi pa ako graduate sa USD. Okay? I'm a Tomasian, but ang hindi ko pa nakuha, ito ang ganda ng usapan natin eh. Your entrepreneurship, at that time nung ako, mas matanda ako sa'yo eh. So, at that time,
hindi ko na nga sinabing edad natin. Ikaw naman, Boss JP.
Hindi, kasi dun lang sa pagbabago ng courses, wala na eh. Wala dating major ng entrepreneurship. It's just a subject before. Tatlo lang before. Eco,
right. Business ad.
And accounting.
Finance. Ay, accounting. Tama. Accounting.
Ito lang. So ngayon, mayroon ng sarili yung entrepreneurship, right? So ako ngayon, ang hindi ko nakuha, business ad ako, and ang hindi ko nakuha is yung subject na entrepreneurship. So ang kulang ko ay 6 units, yung prereq ng entrepreneurship and yung entrepreneurship.
Right.
This is funny. So, ang nangyari, hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa siya nakuha. Hanggang ngayon. I actually asked for, pumunta ako sa UST, yung dati kong teacher, dean na ngayon, and this, so kilala ko siya. And then, if you didn't know, I'm a Salingawi dance troupe.
I know.
So ang nangyari noon, kilala niya ako dahil Salingawi ako. So, nagamit ko yung influence at that part. So, sabi ko sa kanya, can I take these 2 subjects na hindi ko na kailangan kunin yung bagong curriculum? Kasi yun yung problema, di ba? So, sabi niya, okay. Sabi ko, nakikita ko naman yung, alam mo, ilang taon na eh. Nakikita ko naman yung kagustuhan mong tapusin siya. Kasi sabi ko, this is my gift from my mom na kahit di ko masya gamitin, meron akong diploma, mag-graduation pictures. Alam mo yun, the usuals. So, yun lang sana. But then, sabi niya, second sem yung subject.
Right.
So, I have to wait for the sem to finish.
One sem na break. So,
one sem na break. Sabi ko sa kanya, okay, so I need to wait for it. Mali ako. First sem yung, second sem na, tapos first sem yung
okay.
The next year. Kasi nga, pre-rec yung first sem and then entrepreneurship second. Parang gano'n nangyayari. So, sabi niya, okay. So, see you in, parang gano'n, see you next year. See you sa, okay.
Next sem.
And then I was called by Disneyland to be a performer then. And then sabi ko kasama ko, Ma, the reason why gusto mo tapusin yung pag-aaral, para makakuha ka ng magandang trabaho. That's the reason, right? Sabi niya, ito na yung magandang trabaho. Gusto ko pa to. At alam natin kung magkano kalaki yung sweldo sa kanya. In comparison sa makukuha kong kung ano man yung natapos ko and then umpisa ko, kumbaga, di hamak na mas malaki to. Sabi ko sa kanya. Sabi niya, so may blessing na ngayon na umalis ako. But the thing is, if you look at what we're doing right now, in hindsight, babalik na naman tayo.
Exactly.
Right? Ang ginagawa ko ngayon ay entrepreneurship. So, and appropriately, I have a podcast called OFWpreneurs. But then, I didn't finish that entrepreneurship. So, my question is this. Do you really have to have that course to be in entrepreneurship?
No.
Then why did you take it?
Huh?
Then why did you take it?
Well, you don't, in any job naman to be honest, I think in most jobs, not any job, but in most jobs, sometimes you don't need to go through the academic route to understand how things work. Luckily, when it comes to entrepreneurship, hindi naman yan parang law or medicine na kailangan mo ng lisensya to become an entrepreneur, di ba? And there's a lot of successful entrepreneurs who didn't take the academic route. So why did I take it? Because it helps to have a framework. It helps to know the science behind it. And that's what school or that's what the university learnings helped me in doing my business. So meron akong kumbaga formula na I follow. Because I took the academic route. Kasi you maybe kanya-kanyang style yan, di ba, for most entrepreneurs. Pero ako, I have that formula at the back of my head. So nakatulong din yung knowing the science behind it. Correct.
But it's not a need. Kumbaga, hindi naman siya a hindrance for you to not start. Kasi,
it's not a hindrance. Para siyang bonus points. Yes. Kumbaga sa game, para akong may 1-up. Ganon.
Oo, parang ganon. Kumbaga, nag-up, down, left, right, B, A, B, select, start ka.
Yeah. Parang ganon.
Kasi, I wanna put that into a framework na para sa mga listeners, sa mga manonood, na route ko is do not actually finish or have that course or graduated. But the thing is, business administration ako, so it's still the same thing. But yung entrepreneurship lang yung side na hindi ko nakuha. But on Mag's side is natapos niya and it helped him magkaroon ng 1-up. But the thing is, nung nangyari yun, I remember kasi ganito. Nung ginawa yung entrepreneurship, so hindi ko sila kaklase, di ba, block kayo. So, yung mga klase nag-entrepreneurship, so nag-entrepreneurship sila. Ako hindi, kasi wala akong subject doon dahil wala akong prereq na before. Ako yung nagbebenta ng mga, ng mga goods nila. Kasi syempre, binibigay mga klase din nila. And then may kaibigan ako na sa akin niya binibigay, and then alam niyang maboka ako, yung alam niya makakabenta ako. And then he was sold out siya every time. So, parang sa akin, kulang na lang sabihin ko sa teacher na ako yung nagbenta niyan eh. Kahit ito yung course mo, kaya. Kasi ako, nararamdaman ko na I have the entrepreneurial spirit dati pa. Nagbenta ako ng
exactly.
Disal, ganon.
Actually, exactly what you said, JP. For me, I say this to everyone. Entrepreneurship is not a job. It's a mindset. It's a mindset.
The reason why I was able to survive UST, mahirap lang kami. I scholarship. Kaya ako sa Nanggawi for scholarship. We don't have money. But the thing is, 7 to 11 ako. Ano mo yun, right? 7 to 11 sa...
4 hours.
AM
exactly.
PM.
AM ka,
AM ako.
Mid ako eh, mid.
Ang galing ng mga jargons natin, AM and PM. Nagpa-change ako sa mid. Para lang maabutan ko yung kasi hindi ko naaabutan yung AM. You know what I do? To survive the Salinggawi times, kasi hanggang gabi yun, I sell in the morning the Japanese cake sa Magallanes. And then binibenta ko siya. And then I'm able to survive the afternoon to the evening. Nakakain ako dahil doon. So that's for me. Economically, I have to do that to survive yung aking kagustuhan na sumayaw. Parang gano'n.
Galing.
So ngayon, para sa akin ngayon, ang ini-instill ko sa anak ko ngayon, every time sabihin niya, Dad, I wanna buy this, right? We go, okay, we can buy that, but you have to sell something first. Sell something to buy this. Okay, so yung yung 7 years old na, big deal yung 7 years old, di ba? So parang kailangan parang dibo yun sa sa mga magulang eh. What we did is we sold her toys. Anything na hindi niya ginagamit. O lahat actually, not only toys, anything na hindi niya ginagamit. And then siya yung nagbebenta. Diba, you wanna buy it. And then we were able to sell it. And then nakapaghanda kami sa playground at that time. So dumating yung mga klase niya. At lagi ko pinapaalala sa kanya, the reason why you're able to have a party on your 7th birthday, iniintindihan na is because you sold something first. Diba? So it's a learning experience for her. Kasi gusto ko na siyang matuto ngayon pa lang. Yung kanyang entrepreneurial spirit, i-jack up na natin. Pero na siyang
exactly. Galing.
Clear, iyan na natin sa kanya. Ibigyan na natin sa kanya. So ngayon, ang learning naman sa kanya ngayon is to help other people. Dito na tayo papasok sa yung sinasabi na solving big problems, right? When you say solving big problems, I was taken aback. Because I know, usually, entrepreneurs scratch their own itch first. Meaning, they have a small problem that they have to scratch. Hindi ka naman mag-scratch ang buong likod mo eh. This isang part lang naman yan, diba? So parang, but the thing is, sabi mo, gusto mo mag-solve ng big problems kaagad. Diba? But I want to know, what is the first itch? A little bit of itch, spark in you to start any business that you've started. Ano yun? Ano yung maliit na problema mo kung bakit ka nag-start? And then napansin mo, problema din pa rin ng maraming tao. This is it. I want to solve it.
Let's use my college business as an example. What was the itch why I started like events? Kasi yung itch ko nun, wala akong girlfriend eh. Nagkahanap ako ng mga girls, di ba? And then I saw na yung mga girls nandun sa mga gig, nasa mga event, di ba? So sabi ko, okay, kikita na ako dito, magkaka-chicks pa ako. E di, na-scratch ko yung small itch na yun. Ganon.
Dalawang itch ang na-scratch nun.
Oo. Hitting 2 birds in 1 stone, di ba? Nakakuha na ako ng pang-date, nakakuha pa ako ng i-date. Yun.
In one place.
One place, exactly.
Natatawa ako dyan kasi sabi ko, hindi pa ako tapos tumawa. So, yung the reason why ako din sumayaw, kasi hindi ako sumasayaw ng high school eh. So lahat ng mga geeky teacher's pet, ganyan ng high school, tapos top of the class, top of the, gano'n. So nerd ako noon, ako nagtuturo ng mga math sa mga klase ko, puro ako tutor, ako yung tutor sa kanila. So pagdating nung college, tapos nagkakasalubong kami, sabi nila, so anong ginagawa mo? Ay, mga sarenggawi, kung alam mo yung sarenggawi. Huh? Parang gano'n. Sumasayaw ka? Kasi nung high school, kumakanta din ako, mag-band before. Not serious, but hindi na alam na sumasayaw ako. And then after that, yun na nangyari. Sabi niya, ba't maginawa yun? Sabi ko, kasi napansin ko nung sumayaw ako isang beses, ang daming sumisigaw.
Right.
Nakakarelate ako sa'yo eh. Sabi ko, sa tingin ko nung una, hindi ako, confidence level ko sagyawatin pa ako noon, yung mababa yung confidence level ko. Pero pag nasa stage ako, parang nawawala yung tagyawat mo. Tapos gumagawa ka. Parang sa moves na pupunta. So sabi ko,
tumataas yung sex appeal, di ba?
Parang gano'n, di ba? Di ba sabi nila, pag sumasayaw, di magaling ka talaga, di ba? So pag magaling sumayaw, iba na yung dating. So sabi ko, okay, lagi na ito gagawin ko. So ito na yung ginawa ko. Hindi ako tumigil. I didn't stop. So eventually natuto. Everything I learned from Salingawi. I didn't dance, so doon ako nag-start. But then I honed myself sa gusto ko. The reason why I'm going with this route, Mags, kasi balik tayo sa sinabi ko nung una, were you forced to a subject na ano mo? Are you supported by your parents for whatever you do? Kung pupunta ka sa arts, kung pupunta ka sa academic, do you have a support system of your family?
Yes.
Napaka-importante ba nun?
I do. I think so. Yes. Kasi, di ba, in any every time you have a crossroad, whether it's in for your studies or sa career, there's uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty, sometimes you need to pull strength from the people around you. And luckily, my family has always been supportive in any path I take. Malaking bagay yan.
And the reason why I asked that, kasi sa mga OFWs na nakikinig niyo, it's very important, i-relate natin sa kanila, it's very important na whatever your plan is, they know. Right? So, if you're going to start a business, it means you don't have money at the start. It means, di ba, mga burn rate. ubus agad lahat ng pera mo muna eh. It means, kung gagawin mo yung OFWpreneurs, the reason why it's a OFWpreneur, because I encourage everyone na sabayin nila. Kung nasa kung saan country sila, doon nila gawin. Or, with the support of their family, di ba, gawin nila sa Pilipinas, uwi na sila. I encourage na umuwi ka para gawin mo yun kasi ikaw talaga nga hawak nun. But, meron namang ibang outliers na family nila yung gumagawa and they're successful, right? Kasi, it's well communicated, hindi pa sila mayaman mindset, payaman yung mindset nila, di ba? So, hindi yung mayaman na kaagad yung tipong bili na ito, bili na ng ganyan. So, very important na yung support system mo ay alam nila yung plano mo, right? Very well communicated. Maganda kung hindi ka pa umaalis ng bansa, communicated na siya di ba? Yun sa tingin ko nagiging problema natin. Dahil paano na maintindihan kung ang reason para umalis ka is magbayad ng utang. So, okay. Ang nangyari, walang after nun, di ba? After magbayad ng utang, gagawin mo. Diba? So, I encourage everyone na ngayon pa lang, before pa kayo umalis, kung hindi pa kayo maalis, mag-ipon na kayo para sa business na gawin nyo, or i-check nyo nila kung may opportunities na tulad sa sabi ni Mags na problems dyan sa bansa na kung saan kayo at gawin nyo doon, alamin nyo yung rule of tip number 1 at saka yung tip number 2. Diba? Correct. So, hindi natin usually niisip yun. Ako, sa totoo lang nung naging OFW, ako hindi ko talaga inisip yun. The primary reason kung bakit ginawa umalis is mapag-aral yung kapatid ko. That's it. Walang iba. But the thing is, kung meron ganito na OFWpreneurs Podcast, na napakinggan ko, di ba? Parang how to OFW. Yung gano'n. Kung meron lang mag-gano'n dati, how to OFW, kasi 2006 nag-umpisa ang YouTube, so hindi pa masyadong how to dun
Correct.
Umalis Just imagine now, di ba? Na if you can Google this or how to it on YouTube, na maririnig mo tong information na to, na very important, na i-communicate mo na nga siya. And then plan ahead, right? Gas-gas na tong tip na to, pero hindi natin, importante na if you put in how to, ito yung marinig mo sa you. Maliit na problema, yung unang sinabi mo. But then, sa malaki naman, paano, alam mo yun, how to solve hunger. May nabasa akong libro, Mags. Sabi sa akin, gumawa daw ako ng 3 klaseng goals. May levels daw, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Yung una, simple goals. Right? Mga gawa mo daily. Like exercising. Ganun. Magawa mo daily. And then you feel that, wow, sarap ng pakiramdam. Bukas ulit. So, small wins, right? Next, second one is yung tipong magagawa mo sa lifetime mo. Problems na solving or opportunities na magagawa mo sa lifetime mo. Like, for example, magawa ng bahay, sariling bahay ng magulang mo, or etc., ganyan-ganyan. But the thing is, on the third, you have to have a third tier, sabi. Something, a goal that might be, you cannot do it in your lifetime. Na tipong, mamamatay ka na lang, hindi pa masasolve, at maiging ipasa mo sa pamilya mo on how to do it, solve it, and then the system will do, and then yun na yung legacy iiwan mo. Diba? Doon ko nakikita yung pagiging social entrepreneurship mo na yung big goals, matakin mo't hunger. Sige nga, hindi nga masagot-sagot ng maayos yan sa beauty pageant Diba? Well, diba? So, how did that come about? Is that already in your head before ka nag-start niyan? Or, sino nag-influence sa'yo? Mga ganon, hindi ko alam. Ano bang, how did that happen?
When I was in college,
very influential ng college mo, ha?
Ha?
Very influential ng college mo, lahat. Ando na.
Hindi, marami din namang influences after college. Pero sakto kasi yung question mo Maraming parang since we were on the subject of like looking back, I remember nung college ako, I read a book written by Muhammad Yunus. Okay? Muhammad Yunus is the founder of Grameen Bank. And Grameen Bank is a bank that provides microfinancing to micro businesses in
India.
no
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, yes. So and as you may know, ang hirap nobody gives financing to SMEs. It's very difficult. If you're a small business, it's very difficult. And Muhammad Yunus proved that if the right model is in place, you can actually provide financing to these small people with big dreams. So that social aspect combined, parang learning about that, I realized apparently I can make money while helping other people. So, na-ingrain siya sa mind ko na if I'm gonna do anything that benefits myself, I have to make sure that it also impacts positively a lot of people. And that has been my motivation ever since. Every business that I establish aims to solve problems, societal problems, and not just to benefit myself. So, yun yung naging parang calling ko, kumbaga. Parang that's my calling in life.
Kasi you're hitting all the birds of other people also.
Yep.
While hitting your, di ba, yours. Nakakatawa yan kasi yung kwento na inaantay kong ikwento mo ng ng detalyado eh. Kasi 'di ba sa kwento sinasabi na hindi naniniwala ang banks na magbabayad yung mga maliliit kasi wala nga silang pera. But then he encouraged everyone na maghahanap sa ng mga bangko na gagawa nun. But wala. But then so he started it. Diba?
He started it. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Nakatutuwa ako dun sa part na he started it himself. Instead of asking the banks, because he wanna ask the banks, but alam niyo bang pwede to? Everybody said no. So he
kasi,
diba?
Exactly. And one thing you will notice about successful entrepreneurs, their big ideas come from frustration. Na may gusto silang gawin na hindi available. So, ginawa nila, sila na mismo yung gumawa. And ganun din yung ginagawa ko eh. Ganun din ginagawa mo. Diba? Parang nafu-frustrate tayo na, bakit dito pwede? Dapat pwede to. So, diba?
Nakakatawa yan kasi nung sa amin naman is ang frustration namin sa company namin, nagre-request kami ng Filipino food. Ang dami, may Asian, may Singaporean, may minsan mayroong Indian. Tapos biglang, parang, you're a chef, you would appreciate this. I mean, you wanna cook, right? So you will appreciate this. Sabi ko, ba't yung Filipino cuisine hindi respected? Diba? Andun siya sa subcategory ng Asian. Right? But then, there's Singaporean, that's Asian. But wala sa under Asian? Diba? May Thai. But yung Filipino cuisine, there's a place in Hong Kong, ang tawag is Food Republic, and all the countries are there. Yet, wala akong nakitang Filipino cuisine. That it's, hindi nga siya under Asian din eh. Yung ganon, wala din siya doon. So, wala talaga. So, nakaka-frustrate na yung mismong canteen nyo, ang laki ng canteen nyo. Tapos, wala yon. Request kami ng request na matagal na panahon, hindi nangyayari. Okay, ako lang gagawa.
So, the weird part about that is, they employed so many Filipinos di ba? So, bakit walang Filipino food? So, yun, tama ka. Frustration. And the thing about entrepreneurship is, you'll realize na, teka, hindi lang pala akong frustrated. It's a collective frustration. Then that becomes your automatic market. May demand pala if gawin ko to. So, There you go.
Which balak pa namin bumalik doon kasi yung business permit namin 5 years. So, pwede pa kaming bumalik gawin pa rin namin. Pero natin namin matapos yung lahat ng kaguluhan ngayon. Kung matapos, praying and praying. Kasi
praying
protest, and then protest again. Okay na yung protest again. So, I'm praying for Hong Kong. That's my second.
Praying for Hong Kong, yes.
Kasi hindi lang dahil gusto namin bumalik dahil para sa mag-business, kundi Hong Konger ang anak ko eh.
Exactly.
Gusto mo kong anak Hong Konger eh. The reason why we started the business there. So, balik tayo sa concept ng OFWpreneurs Podcast. The message, the entirety of the message is ang pinakamabilis na way to come home for good nang hindi ka nagmamadali is through entrepreneurship. But when I ask my child, sabi ko, gusto ko nang umuwi. Sabi sa kanya, naalala mo si Mamu, si Lola? Sabi ko, I want to visit them because I want to spend time with them now. And she said, huh? But this is my home. So I said, what? Wait, selfish ba ako? Home ko yung iniintindi ko. Pero yung home niya yun. Mga kaibigan niya nandun. Diba? That's the reason, nag-shift kami ng mindset to start it there. What if we could start there? And then we can also do it in Philippines. And then we'll buy houses near the airport kasi malapit kami sa airport sa Hong Kong. So I'll buy a house near the airport. So airport to airport kami. So I can say na we are maybe 6 months in Hong Kong, 6 months here, diba? Because we have both businesses there. So technically, we're home. Because home is not a place. It's the people, right? Si Ragnarok yan eh. Asgard is not a place. It's the people. Yeah? So
home is where the heart is. Diba?
Home is where your heart is. Yes. Ganon. So, nag-shift yung mindset namin, diba? So, may ganong influence ang anak namin, yung mismong sinabi niya, na that started the OFWpreneurs thinking, di ba? So, ito yung message na sinasabi ko. At yung part na hindi nagmamadali, I always emphasize that, nang hindi ka nagmamadali. Kasi, it will take you years, 5 years, 10 years. But then, after, di ba? Lagi naman ganun eh. Mahirap sa umpisa eh. Di ba? Mahirap, and then after, you will gain from it. Di ba? Again, ulitin ko mahirap. Mahirap. But then, when you listen to the stories of the OFW, especially mga domestic helpers, malalaman mo, mahirap din yun. And then mahirap yung entrepreneurship. So, madali na kasi nahirapan ka na. You already have the calluses, di ba?
Actually, exactly. I was about to say, dapat when you engage in entrepreneurship, dapat matibay sikmura mo. Dapat matibay sikmura mo.
Matibay ba ang sikmura mo?
Hindi lang sikmura ko yung matibay. Ito, di ba? Lahat. Makapal.
Na. Correct me if I'm wrong or mayroong malalim na pag-iisip na sasabihin ko. Pero bakit nung bata ako, hindi ko kinahihiyang magbenta? But then, yung mga tumitingin sa akin na baga outside looking in, ay kinahihiya nila, ay si JP, Junjun ako nun. Si Junjun, nagbebenta, ano ba yan? Ang hirap, nagbebenta. Ako alam kong mahirap ako nun, pero pinagmamalaki ko na nakakakuha ko ng pera at nakakain ako sa pagbebenta ko. But then, na-realize ko na yung mga kaibigan ko na parang kinahihiya pala ako nun nila. Parang yan, mahirap yan, parang ganon. But then, maganda dahil hindi ako na corrupt ng nila. And then pagdating ng ngayon, makapal pa rin ang mukha ko. Pinagmamalaki ko pa rin, nakikita ko, yun nga yung tinuturo ko sa anak ko, di ba? So, saan nang gagaling yung ganon? Bakit tayo ganon? Bakit, sabi nila, it's about Filipinos not being entrepreneurial. do you believe that mindset na hindi tayo entrepreneurial? Yet, paglabas ko dyan sa Holy Spirit, bawat kanto may tindahan. At alam ko maganda yung rent. Ang mahal ng rent. Right? So, parang hindi nag-jive yung sinasabi nila na hindi tayo entrepreneurial, yet, hindi ka makahanap ng pwesto. Ha? So, hindi ko mahanap, hindi ko mapagdugtong yung paniniwalang yon kasi hindi ako naniniwala na hindi tayo entrepreneurial. Lahat tayo entrepreneurial. Nabubulag lang tayo sa mga na namalabas sa mga television, sa mga movies, ganyan, na pag mahirap ka, aapihin ka ng mayayaman, di ba? Ng Henry Fish's of the world, di ba?
Yan dapat yung sasabihin ko, na parang, I think ano yan di ba? Dati kasi wala namang YouTube, di ba? So, during our days, Boss JP, di ba? Wala namang ibang choice yung masa, kundi yung nakikita nila sa TV. And sa TV, di ba, maraming mga teleserye, and usually, parang yung mga may pera, or yung mga negosyante, laging kontrabida, di ba? Parang sila yung masama.
Aman.
And then parang novel yung parang pagiging inaapi. So pag inaapi ka, parang bida ka sa buhay. Parang gano'n. So I think, dahil doon, nagkaroon ng negative connotation yung pagbebenta, pagiging negosyante, parang negative yung yung tingin ng tao. Pero I think that was a long time ago. Maybe that was during our time. But now, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but yung mga entrepreneurs ngayon yung parang bida.
Oo nga.
Diba? Pag nagnenegosyo ka, pag nagbebenta ka, uy, okay parang, sige nga, tell me more about your project. Uy, paano ba kami sasali dyan? Diba? Uh-huh. So ngayon, there is already that shift in mindset. And I think this lockdown even pushed that further or accelerated that. Kasi,
exposed it.
Ano yung impact ng lockdown? Ang daming nawalan ng work. Maraming nawalan ng work. And so ngayon, for most people, no choice ka. Kung para kumita, kailangan mo magbenta. Kailangan mo magnegosyo. So, I think the mindset...
Nag-crave ka ng mga... I'm sure nakapag-order ka ng OB cheese pandesal.
Siyempre. Oo. Pandesal. Oo, lalo na.
Diba?
So, parang, I think the mindset today has changed.
Shifted, yes. Maybe, meron pang residue sa mga nakikita mo sa mga palabas. But then you have an alternative already.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, when was the last time you watched TV? Kasi ako, I feel like it's been a while since I watched ABS or a GMA show. Kung meron man, baka sa YouTube ko na pinanood.
That's a very good question. And I'm proud with my answer. Since 2015.
Di ba?
Tanggal namin yung TV.
Di ba?
At plano namin, pag magkaroon kami ng bahay, walang TV sa living room para mag-usap ang mga tao sa baba.
I like that idea.
Magkaroon ka gusto ko magkaroon ng theater, at kasi kung manonood ka ng something, I will watch a very good movie instead of kung ano nakikita ko. And anything else in between will be in YouTube.
Correct. Exactly.
And podcast. Kasi very efficient. Sa totoo lang. Nung nalaman ko na meron kang podcast, sabi ko, ang galing ni Mags. Ang galing ni Mags. Idol talaga. Baga, iniisip ko pa lang, ginagawa na niya, nakarami na siyang episodes. Diba? Sabi ko, ang galing ni Mags. Kasi alam natin, very efficient yan, diba? Now, tatanungin ko sana sa'yo kanina nung sabi mo about the book that influenced you sa college, the why you want social entrepreneurship. Let's lighten it up a bit. What's your hack into reading books? I'm sure you read books. You love to read books.
I do.
Yeah. So what's your hack? How do you make 52 in a year? How do you make 52 in a year? One book per week.
Okay.
Yun na eh, di ba? Yung
I'm,
CEO daw, 1 week
I,
per, 1 book per week eh.
there's two things about this, no? There's books that you love, that you're excited to read, and then there's books that you need to read.
Yan.
For the books that you're excited to read, kaya ko yung upuan eh. Na I can read a book na gusto kong basahin for 12 hours straight.
Tapos na.
Kaya ko yun. Kasi, alam mo yun, na-enjoy ko siya eh. So, that's the easy part. Kung gusto mo talaga yung libro, madali mo yan. Hindi na kita bibigyan ng tip. Kasi I'm pretty sure, para yung Netflix, ma-addict ka. Diba? How about the books that you need to read? So, this is where pacing helps. Ako, ang style ko dyan, pacing. So, I will target to finish a chapter in, let's say, 1 weekend. 1 chapter per weekend na hindi rushed. So, when I read, like, let's say, business books, mag-1 chapter ako per weekend. Tapos, ang ginagawa ko, I write down my key takeaways. If you will see my laptop right now, I have, like, gamit na gamit yung notes. Kasi, sinasummarize ko yung takeaways ko and yung mga quotes na gusto ko dun sa notes ko. Ganun ako absorb ng information. And kapag talagang nahihirapan ako basahin yung libro, ang ginagawa ko, naghanap ako ng audiobook. Kasi, like podcast, minsan, ang sarap to learn something while you're in bed, tapos nakikinig ka lang. Lalo na, kasi pag, the problem kasi with reading sometimes, mas mabilis yung mind mo kaysa dun sa eyes mo. Alam mo yun? So, versus sa audio, parang it depends on how you learn it. So ako, I love audiobooks.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've influenced my friends na mag-audiobook sila kasi sabihin, layo kung mabasa ng libro, ganito, ganyan. Of course, I still love the smell of the pages, lalo na pagbago, nasa plastic pub. Nakakaano yung libro, di ba? So, I wanna share my hack naman. Again, yung sinabi mo, your eyes actually is faster than how you read in your head. Diba?
So, minsan napapagod ka eh.
So, ang ginawa ko, I make the audiobook faster. Like the speed for me is 1.75 to 2 times 2. And then I follow it with the book. I have the book and I have the audiobook. So, audio and book, physical book. And then I read yung eyes ko, nasusundan niya yung sinasabi niya. Instead of me, sometimes you read like how you speak, right? Parang ganon yung nakita habang binabasa mo. But then, the audiobook made my eyes go faster. And I hear the words in my ear, diba? So bumibilis yung basa ko. I've tried that with the Dan Brown book. Half of it napanood ko on the way to Philippines, and half of it nabasa ko pabalik. So
Da Vinci Code ba yan?
Hindi, Lost Symbol.
Angel Symbol. Okay.
Lost Symbol. So yung Lost Symbol na nangyari sa akin, binili ko siya nung pauwi ako. And then, hindi ko siya pinakailaman ulit. Tinapos ko siya nung pabalik na ako sa Hong Kong. So, it means that's only 2 hours. 2 hours. Right? So, ang bilis kong nagawa. Ang bilis ko nagawang matapos yung sabi ko pa. Saka ako na-discover, okay, ganun pala yung hack. Right? So, in order for you guys to read books, if ayaw ng physical book na inaanto kayo, di ba? So, gawin niyo yung hack na mag-audiobook kayo. That's why I'm encouraging everyone to also listen to podcasts. Kasi diba? You can still scroll. You can still scroll anywhere. It will still be, you'll still be hearing it, diba? Even if you're scrolling anywhere, magazine ka or whatever. Mapapakinggan mo pa rin yung boses namin ni Mag sa kanyang Lovepreneurs. Itong sa OFWpreneurs Podcast, diba? So, so to even lighten it up a bit, what's the reason why you started the podcast? At bakit Lovepreneurs? Ako obvious sa akin OFWpreneurs eh.
Well, okay. Yeah. I think by now you already know that how I love women. Yung college business ko pa lang, di ba? So, I created the podcast. Yan. Lovepreneurs Podcast. Because na-realize ko, a lot of problems in business are somewhat parallel. May parallel universe siya when it comes to relationships. So, sabi ko, okay, why don't we create a podcast wherein we solve love problems using business concepts?
Galing.
Yeah. Yan yung ano.
Kada po, 2 birds in 1 stone ka na naman. Ang galing.
So, ang maganda pa dito, ang nai-interview namin, puro babae, di ba? So, nag-enjoy ako, di ba? I love talking to women, gano'n. Ayan.
So, i-plug na natin. Follow this OFWpreneurs Podcast in Spotify.
Yes, please.
And,
Yes.
I'm following already. Just finished episode 1. Medyo madikit yung episode 1 eh.
Yan. Actually, by July, lalabas na yung season 2 namin. May season 2 na. So
tapos na ba itong season 1? For the season 1.
Correct. So yung season 2, ako lang yung MC. So, nag-break muna yung partner ko, si Marcos.
Ako nakakatuwa kasi I've learned na I have to make it a season also. Kasi hindi ko ma-edit yung videos. Hindi mo maayos.
And kasi, di ba, if you notice, yung consumer, mahilig yan mag-binge listen or mag-binge watch. So, yung seasons mo, para yung chapter, di ba? So, chapter 1, tatapusin niya yan. Isang tira yan. 6 hours straight. Tapusin niya lahat ng episodes mo. So, pag nag-break yan, kapag wala kang season, parang tuloy-tuloy, parang malilito yung brain niya. Parang walang ending. Mahabaan siya. Pero kung may season, parang, okay, after season 1 break, season 2 break. Di ba? Ganon.
Kasi sa'yo, medyo British yung style mo. Kasi 6 lessons lang eh. Tawag mo lesson, diba? So, 6 lessons.
Tama.
Alam mo yun, yung walang scheduling, tapos 66 episodes lang. Yung ganun mga British di ba? Yung mga British na mga minsan nga, iba-iba pang lumalaktaw ng week eh. Tapos minsan months pa di ba? So, nakakatuwa yun. So, kasi sa akin naman, minodol ko naman siya sa US side naman. I have 23 episodes. So, ang ginawa ko ngayon, I stopped.
Sabi ko, ang sipag mo eh. Ang sipag mo.
Hanggat may momentum, I'm trying to learn as I go also. Kasi hindi ko na alam kung ano kailangan ko eh. So, when I started, I eventually, meron na akong ring light ngayon. So, I've ordered the mic na, kasi naiingit ko sa mga guest kong katulad mo na ang ganda ng audio. Di ba? Ako na problema nga eh. Naputol na yung headphone ko, tapos ito, nag-ground pa siguro ngayon to. So, di ba? So, yung mga ground, kaya ang lesson na magandang makuha ng mga tao dito, first yung hack ng pagbabasa. Second is yung listen to the episodes natin, mga ganyan. Diba? Kung gusto nyong ipagsama ang love and business, solve your business and vice versa, solve your business with love. Diba? Ang mga ganun. Ang reason for that is, for me to say this again, is yung mga kaibigan natin, mga OFW or aspiring OFWpreneurs, diba? Just start. Of course, follow the tip 1 and tip 2 ni Mags Fetalino. But, start. You wouldn't know the problems hanggang di mo umpisahan. I'm sure daming problema nangyayari sa business mo ngayon na
actually,
you
wouldn't realize or you wouldn't understand the problem unless you encounter it yourself. You need to feel the pain.
Yes. Masaktan. Frustration. Hanggang sa frustration mo nga, di ba?
Parang lang yan. Parang relationship, di ba? Kung hindi mo pa na-feel masaktan, parang lagi kang takot masaktan. Di ba? Pag iniwan ka ng girlfriend mo.
Isa ba yan sa mga lessons mo? Ito yan. Meron din akong take dyan. Alam mo so, nung nag-break kayo, di ba? Masakit. Oh my, masakit. Di ba? Tapos laging payo sa'yo, there are many fishes in the sea. Kaya sabi mo,
exactly.
Hindi, wala nang makakapalit sa kanya. And then, meron.
Exactly.
Again, nasaktan ka na naman. Why are you trying to do this all over again? Bakit mo sinasaktan ang puso mo na naman? Trying to find forever Then sabi mo, hindi, wala nang papal sa kanya. And then, meron na naman. Diba?
Correct.
Meron naman.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is, now that I've found my forever, naks, ayoko na.
Ayan.
Yung episode
Patay tayo dyan. Patay tayo dyan.
Forever. What I'm saying is, you will also deal with that sa business. Diba? I've started something, it failed. It failed. Right? Masakit, Mags, iniyakan ko yun. Medyo.
I know how you feel.
It took a long time for me. Sabi ko, before ako nag-start ng business, sabi ko, lahat ng mga payo ng mga tao is be stoic daw. Learn to let go immediately. So, pinapractice ko talaga. Pinapractice ko anak ko, pinapractice ko sa asawa ko. Sinasabi ko sa asawa ko na, I'm practicing this ha. I'm trying to let go. Kasi pag hindi mo sinabi yun, ako, mag-aaway kay lalo. Kasi, nag-let go ka na siya, andun pa eh.
Correct.
Andun pa siya. So, kailangan mo sabihin sa kanya, I'm trying to do this to let go. But then, nung nangyari sa'yo, pak! Hindi ka maka-let go din kaagad. So, you have to actually also respect that process of letting go. Diba? Kasi ganun ng pag-ibig masasaktan ka talaga. But then,
diba?
Believe. Dahil sa nangyari sa asawa ko, nahanap ko na siya. Kami na, alam kong siya na. Diba? There's also the same, it will also happen the same way sa business. Na you will find, because nasaktan ka na, you know how to navigate it the second time. Right? I mean, it will not be perfect, yet, you've learned so much sa first relationship mo, sa second relationship mo, sa third and fourth and fifth and sixth, but until you find forever. So, episode na ng Lovepreneurs. So, sa business mo, you will also find your forever there. Right? Kasi,
ako, baka palitan mo na ako sa show ko, ha? Pucha.
I will be the first guest na lalaki. Maybe find a girl, co-host, and then let's
Yeah.
business model, let's change the business model of your Lovepreneurs, diba? Nakakatawa yun. I'm very, nagtatawanan tayo, but it's a serious thing when it comes to entrepreneurship. Kasi sa mga OFW, yung sinasabi natin, ang hindrance nila is failure, fear of failure. That's why they don't start.
Actually, it's not just failure. It's the fear of the unknown.
That's why you have
they don't know what's gonna happen, diba? If they take the leap, there's that fear na, shit, I don't see it. It's not clear. So, what can you do to minimize that fear? It goes back to my 2 tips. Know the rules. Because the more you know the rules, the more the unknown becomes known. Diba? And then number 2, my second tip, don't scale too fast. Okay lang, small wins, di ba? Start small, and kapag kabisado mo na, pag ready ka na, that's the time you explode. That's how you eradicate the fear of the unknown.
Yan, gandang advice naman, no? Baga sa mga iba-ibang mga sagot talaga eh. Yeah, I usually ask that question is how are you able to fight that fear of failure, and in your case is to fight the fear of the unknown. And it goes back to a very good foundation of your 2 tips, right? Whenever I have guests here, Mr. Fetalino, nag-adjust na tayo, seryoso na eh.
Seryoso na ulit. Okay, balik sa seryoso na usapan.
So, ang galing natin mag-adjust eh. Is ang nangyari kasi, sa mga, ang metaphor ko dito, madilim yung daan. So, how will you navigate that? Right? So, yung iba, yung tip mo, small wins. Unti-untiin mo kasi malalaman mo may bangin pala sa kabila, ganito, ganyan. Diba? Tapos, kung tinakbo mo yun, diba? Ang laking chance na magkakaagad. Diba? So, yun yung ngayon yung sinasabi mong you're trying to scale. It's metaphorically running sa isang madilim na path, isang madilim na daan. Diba? So, you have to have your small wins, gapang-gapang ka lang, right? So, diba, pagka sa madilim, unti-unting lumiliwanag, pero unti-unti lang din. Kailangan mo lapit ulit, and then saka liliwanag, kasi sanay ka na sa dilim. Diba? Correct. So, but then, you have to have the foundation, right? The foundation sa iyo to go with that, and that foundation serves as your light.
Yeah, knowing the rules.
And then, nung nakita mo ngayon, lumiliwanag na, right? But then you failed, right? When I say you failed, you have to go back. That's my imagination sa kwento ko. You have to go back again from the start. Right? So, but now you're equipped. You already have the foundation still, right? But then the first time you navigated that madilim na daan, you don't have to actually, you can go swiftly from 0 to 1. You can navigate it swiftly because you've already done it, right? And then now the problem is going from 1 to the nth, whatever, right? So take every failure as a learning experience. Diba? Ang dami ko natutunan sa mga ginawa ko sa Hong Kong noon. But I know I'm very after ng a little bit of paghihirap sa pag-move on, parang kayang-kaya ko na to. Kayang-kaya ko na to. Right? I can move forward and I've learned my lesson. And I can navigate from 0 to 1 because I've already done it. Right? Yun yung mahirap na part, yung 0 to 1. But the 1 to the nth will be a little bit easier for you now kasi nga nangyari na sa'yo. So, failure is your tuition fee to your success. Mr. Fetalino, I wanna ask, sa mga ginagawa mong businesses, are you happy?
Okay, Mr. Adena.
Gumaganda.
I'm happy now. All the ventures that, despite the challenges and despite syempre, di ba, may mga rough roads in eh. Because I'm passionate about what I do, I don't, even during the downtimes, I'm still content. Not content. I think the term is fulfilled.
Yeah.
Kasi alam ko na, yes, even if there will be challenges, the vision, what I want to achieve, is getting closer and closer to me. Yeah, yun yung ano ko. So I'm fulfilled. I'm happy.
Balik tayo sa ating metaphor. It means, mga kaibigan, si Mags ay yung kanyang pundasyon, ang kanyang light, ay sobrang liwanag. At habang binabaybay niya yung madilim na daan, nakikita niya yung dulo. So, sobrang liwanag ng kanyang pundasyon. Naaaninag niya. Kitang-kita niya, and all he has to do is actually go forward. Go forward with it, and nakakatuwa yung happy. Kaya kung tinanong yung happy, that's a very, very simple question. But the thing is, mga kaibigang OFW, you might think I'm actually forcing you to be an entrepreneur. At I'm sure yung reaction ng iba ay ganito, hindi naman magbenta eh. Ang hirap-hirap niyan eh. Baka pala pag mag-fail, sayang ang pera ko. You're right. Pag mag-fail, sayang ang pera mo. You're right. But the thing is, ano bang ginagawa mo ngayon? Right? Ano na yung action na ginagawa mo ngayon? Right? Kung wala, go with that. Right? Ang point ko is, ngayon, kung may ginagawa ka ngayon naman, and you're happy, you're not an entrepreneur, you're an OFW, and you're happy, then you won already.
Exactly. I was about to say, Mr. Adena, I was about to say na mas mahal ang oras kaysa sa pera. Di ba? Yung pera, pag nawala, kaya mong bawiin eh. Sige, trabaho ka ulit. Di ba? Okay lang. Pero yung opportunity, yung oras na nawala, na nasayang mo, yan yung mahal. Yan yung hindi mo mababalik. Kasi, alam mo yung, if there's one thing na ayoko ma-feel, yung parang may what if. What if ginawa ko yun? What if hindi ko parang what if ginawa ko to? Ayoko ng ganong feeling. Mas okay na yung, alam mo yun, sinubukan mo. Ayan.
So, maganda yung sinabi mo ng what if kasi yun yung mga nire-regret na mga kakilala nating mga may edad na. Diba? Bagay, tanong mo sila, ang sinasabi nila is, hindi nila nire-regret ang mga bagay na ginawa nila. Sana hindi ko lang ginawa to. More often than not, ang answer nila is, sana ginawa ko to. Yung mga bagay na hindi nila ginawa. What if ginawa ko to? What if ginawa ko yan? Diba? Matuto tayo doon eh. Baga, alam mo yung sinasabi sa inyo mga magulang nila, papunta na ako, papunta pa lang kayo, pabalik na ako. Totoo yun eh. Lalo na pag ikaw na doon sa sitwasyon na yun, di ba?
Totoo yan.
So,
Totoo yan.
I mean, bakit ako stubborn nung bata ako? Ba't di ko pinapakinggan yun? Bakit? Kasi yung society, again, balik tayo sa sinabi ko kanina na may shift na ngayon. Yung society, ang sinasabi, same yung sinasabi ng mga gulang mo. Same na sinasabi ng na huwag ka magganto, baka ang mahirap ay ang mga mayaman ay mga mata pobre, dapat maging mahirap ka para maging bida ka sa buhay. Alam mo, sa telenovela ng iyong buhay, ikaw yung bida, di ba? But right now, hindi na yun eh. Di ba? Exposed ka na sa mga ibang information. Books are now, you can, Blinkist, yung sinabi mo kanina sa mga, yung takeaway,
Yeah.
diba? Mayroon ng mga Blinkist, may
yeah.
sa YouTube may mga channels na alam mo yun, sinasummarize yung mga yun. You don't have to do the key takeaways. You don't have to read the book and get the key takeaway. They will explain to you, di ba? Meron nga din akong ganyang plano eh. I think I will compile it here because meron akong content, pillar content, which is this, the hours of content. I can have I can restart my page or maybe a playlist in my YouTube page. Nakalagay, watch the big idea. You don't have to read the big idea. Just watch it from here. Diba? There's a book, which is also watch this book. I'm just gonna get one idea from that book and then give it to you. So it's the same kung ano yung mga ginagawa mo sa iyong facing sa pagbabasa ng libro. Diba? So, if it's effective with you, akala ko sa akin lang eh. Kaya ako natanong yan usually sa mga guest ko, na mga alam kong reader, kung may hack ka, parehas tayo ng hack, it means it's actually working. Di ba? So, I'm not saying you have to read books because not everybody is, that's not how they learn. Di ba? But you can watch the book and you can watch the big idea kung nasa visual ka naman. And then if you're listening, we're hitting everything, Max. Hitting everything. This might in the future become a book. And then, if you read, then we have a book. If you want to watch, then we have this YouTube page. If you want to listen, then we have this OFWpreneurs Podcast. This is entitled Magellan Fetalino with Big Ideas. Right?
Okay.
What's the big idea? Mr. Fetalino. Ano ba talaga? When it comes to entrepreneurship, what is the big idea? Of course, there's your 2 tips, your foundation. Bakit nga ba kailangan natin gawin?
To answer your first question, what is a big idea? For me, the measure of a big idea, and you probably heard this before. Di ba sabi ni Steve Jobs, it's when you make a dent in the universe. So, parang big, the world is so big, yes, it's hard to make an impact. So, a small dent that you can make, that's big. So, unless you make a dent in the universe, maybe your idea is not big enough. And then the why, for me, the why is legacy. Parang you want to leave kasi di ba sabi ko nga time is expensive because it's finite, it's limited. Even after we die, life will move on, di ba? People will move on, and I want to be remembered for something good. I want to be remembered for something big that I've contributed for the betterment of society.
Yeah. Ang gandang.
Kaya sa darating na eleksyon, mga kababayan,
malapit na.
Tandaan nyo po, sa balota, Magellan Fetalino. Joke lang.
Yeah, so, segue na natin, di ba? Yun ang segue natin. Yung big idea mo, yung your dent into the universe is para sa akin kung nalaman ko tong business mo, sabi ko ang galing naman ito. Tapos yung pangalan pa ganun, pangalan pa ako din. Parang iba eh. Parang paano mo parang ikaw na. Ikaw na talaga. Parang ganoon ang nangyari sa akin noon eh. So, I'm showing this to you guys. This is Mags' baby. I'm sure he scratched his own itch. The reason why this came about, diba? So just give us I'm giving you the floor. I ask the questions later to explain this.
Well, the business is simple. What we wanted was to make sure that every entrepreneur can parang go and get their dreams despite the limitation of resources. Kasi diba, totoo naman not everyone was born with money. But everyone was equally born with dreams. We all have aspirations. So we wanted to make an equal playing field for the smaller people, for the smaller dreamers. And since we understand that it's hard for small entrepreneurs to have access to financing, we thought of a way on how to make it accessible to them. And that's what Akidin does. Parang if you need funding for your business, and if you have receivables, kasi diba, when you have receivables, receivable is yan yung parang na-provide mo na yung goods mo, na-provide mo na yung service mo, naghihintay ka na lang ng bayad. Eh, di ba uso sa atin, uy, bayaran kita after 30 days, bayaran kita after 60 days.
Ano yan
Pinoy na Pinoy yan So, gusto namin maging possible for these entrepreneurs. Okay, sige. Magaling ka na-provide mo yung goods, na-provide mo yung service. Isa lang ibig sabihin nun. Talagang nagtatrabaho ka. Magaling kang negosyante kasi may kliyente ka. Gusto namin maging possible for you na makuha mo yung pera in advance. Lalo na if you work with large companies, di ba? Minsan, ang ano na lang, ang limitation na lang for you to work with, let's say, a Robinsons or an SM is to have the capital, to have the funding. And that's what we gave. Okay, sige, good job. Nakuha mo yung kontrata kay SM, nakuha mo yung kontrata kay Robinsons. May PO ka, may invoice ka na. Sige, lapit ka sa amin. Tulungan ka namin. Base sa invoice mo. So, kahit na maliit ka pa lang, basta may makuha kang project, edi, makakakuha ka na ng funding sa amin. Yun yung ginawa namin para makatulong dun sa mga masisipag na small entrepreneurs.
Well, it's basically from the but the belief of the cash is king and cash flow is actually the process of it, diba? So,
yeah,
you need the cash flow to run your business. Yun naman, napaka-simple, diba? Paano ka bibili ng panibagong goods for you to sell when delayed yung unang...
Ipit yung cash flow mo. Exactly.
Yung cash flow mo. So, that's how it works. And you can see it in how it works here in the website, diba? It's quite self-explanatory, basically. At I know if you're already starting a business, you've already experienced what Mag said na nadidelay yung mga payables mo, yung receivables mo, di ba? So, and this is a place, nakakatuwa kasi the growth nitong company nyo is nakakatuwa kasi you've already started in Myanmar, right?
Yeah. Nasa Myanmar na siya, tama.
Myanmar na siya, and then, yun, Seed Star Startup mga awards na nakuha niya. And iba and then parang natutuwa din ako sa mga nakikita ko na you're partnered with so many other companies. Kasi parang as what you said earlier, balik tayo sa umpisa na sinabi mo na you've lobbied a law or passed a law for you to be able to do this kasi wala pa siyang law.
Yeah.
Diba? So it means there's a need for it. Even the government didn't see it. Didn't see the need for it, and you're solving it, and then you're pioneering the process. You're spearheading it, diba? So parang nakakatuwa na may ganto na, at isang Filipino yung gumawa. Alam mo yun? It's awarded sa ibang mga bansa. Nakakatuwa. So if I'm going, let's say kasi I'm starting a business. I really am starting a business. So then what I should do to actually have my cash flow also is to go with this. I mean, hindi mo na kailangan tanungin, gagawin ko na to eh. Alam mo yun? Lalo na, hindi ko na aantayin problemahin ka pa yung receivables ko. So, I will not only be a host of this podcast for you, Max, kundi I'm pretty sure we'll work together.
Sounds good. Perfect. Pag marami ka ng mga advertisement sa podcast mo, di ba? Hintay ka pa ba 90 days? Benta mo na sa amin, di ba?
Ang galing. Ang galing ng plugging mo doon. Ang galing mong sumegue. I think that's a very good ending of our episode here, Mr. Fetalino. Sa mga nanonood, nakikinig, good morning, good evening, good night. Have a good day sa inyong lahat. But before that, follow this. Subscribe also. All my socials are at JP Adena. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. I even have Kumu, the live stream app. Kasi plano kong i-live stream na to next time. Hindi pa lang ako sanay. So wait for it. And Akidin and Lovepreneurs on Spotify by Max Fetalino. Nakakatawa din pangalan nun. Gusto ko lang isingit. Ako din. Ang galing ng pangalan. Ako din. Kung siya pwede, ba't hindi ako pwede? So yung action, very, very call to action yung yung pangalan di ba? Ako din, di ba? Ang magandang mga tao. Yeah, that's it. Have a good night for me. And thank you again, Max. And I hope we have other episodes very specific on maybe love.
Yeah.
We can think of something in the future. Okay.
Thank you so much, boss.
Bye-bye.
I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.